This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Philippines, good evening. Naimbag nga rabi, masanto siya sa labid sa iyo amin. Maya pa bengi keka, marahay na banggi sa Indigo Post. Mahupay nga gabi, ha iyo nga tanan. Dida, buenas noches. Marhaban kay Halik, kay Falhal. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Maayong maayong gabi sa Tibok Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, up to Sabah. Ako po si Eric Espina at ito ang inyong kaisa-isang republika. Nasa gitna po tayo ngayon sa Barangay election, the smallest political unit in our country's democracy. And so tonight we are going to talk about restudying the barangay with so many questions that has to be asked, and hopefully our guest who was formerly Pangulo or leader ng Liga ng mga Barangay sa buong Pilipinas and who is also an incumbent barangay captain in Marinduque, Gasa Dos, if I get it right. We have none other than Punong Barangay James Marty Lim. Good evening, James.
Good evening, Eric.
Yeah.
Pleasure to thank you for having me here.
Yes, we need to pick on your brains in order to gain some experience and some wisdom based upon, you know, your many years being your hands are wet, your feet are on the ground regarding barangay issues. How did you see the barangay elections? In the beginning, did you see it was really going to push through or not?
Yes. As a matter of fact, what happened in the beginning when they postponed it, because of one of the reasons at the time was lack of. They wanted to postpone it to hopefully tie it up with the amendments to the Constitution,
Yes.
and all that. There were many proposals, no?
Yes.
And then, of course, they were thinking that probably it could save money.
Yes.
All that. No? So it was actually postponed twice, if my memory serves me right. No? But
Yes,
the
yes.
only thing there is, now that they've postponed it, we were already in the quagmire that kailangan na talaga siyang matuloy.
Okay.
Kasi I think it's really, one, it's on the ground. It's
Okay.
really too long. And
Overstaying.
medyo ganun na yung,
Okay.
medyo ganun na yung dating.
Oo.
Number two, it's bordering already to, it's, siyempre kini-question na ng iba, constitutional pa ba yan or what, to keep on extending it. Of course, I think there's nothing wrong with extending it, but we have to come up, I was hoping that they will really fix na the term of the barangay once and for all. Because to this day, it's an issue, the length of service. Why sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 6, yung mga ganun, kasi it creates a lot of uncertainty also.
And it's difficult to plan if you don't know how long your term of office and platform of government. How long, in your own thinking, should the term of office of a barangay captain or the barangay officials be?
Well, during my time, I started in 97. One
Okay.
of the advocacies that we pushed for was to fix it to 5 years. But just to give a little background, long before, when the barangay was invented, during those times, they call it Teniente del Barrio. They didn't really call it
Yes.
barangay captain.
Yes,
And there was a time that the elections...
Barrio captain.
Barrio captain.
Barrio captain, oo.
Yes, and there was a time that the election was collegial. The highest number of votes became a chairman.
Yes.
These were innovations. So under the local government code, I just think na they forgot. Kasi when the local government code was made, the term was set similar to the local officials, which was 3.
Okay.
But they did not specify the number of times they can be...
No term limits, you mean to say?
No, there's a term limit.
Okay.
But they did not, they put an exception to the
Okay.
barangay. Because the wording was, local government officials shall serve for not more than 3 consecutive terms, for not more than 3 years, except barangay officials. So, in my contention, the reason why you put the word except,
Yes.
because the barangays was never meant to serve specifically 3 years. Historically, it was always 6.
Okay.
Historically.
Yes.
And I thought 5 years is just right. Why? Because if you get elected, newly elected, and you only have to serve 3 years, your first year you have learning curve.
Yes, studying.
Second year, you will be trying to implement whatever it is that you learned.
Yes.
Before you finish, it's already campaign period.
Oo.
So, it's a never-ending, painful process. No? And sadly, the Filipinos on the ground, especially, you know naman, our demographical basing, no? A lot of them are sort of young din, and at the same time, it's very, barangays kasi, just like our society, is tawag natin mapusok, no? And at the same time, very personal.
Very
And
personal.
a lot of the ones running in the barangay level are
Know each other.
families.
Yeah.
They know each other, their families,
Yes.
yung magkakamag-anak, magkakaibigan, and it's not like your regular election, na after election, if you win or lose,
Magkaibigan ulit.
hindi
Di
naman
na eh.
magkaibigan.
Acrimonious, hindi ba acrimonious ang labanan sa barangay?
Very, very painful kasi
Oo.
sa iba, hindi na kayo magkikita. Ito, magkikita kayo eh.
Yes.
So,
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. It's your neighbor, it's your family member.
Oo.
So, you'll never know.
And minsan yung pamilya nahahati-hati pa kasi may ibang barangay gustong tulungan or ibang congressman or ibang mayor,
Correct,
no?
correct.
Oo.
Iba pa yung political division, no? When you say, when you ally with somebody else, and the other family members decides to ally with somebody else, these actually cause a lot of family fractions, no? Talagang nagkakaroon ng clash.
I'll ask this of you, James. No? Has it ever happened that there are 2 family members who are running for barangay captain?
Yeah.
Meron, ha? Nangyayari. So, that only shows, ha?
Yeah, actually, may nangyari na before na, kunyari mag-asawa, naghiwalay. One will run against the other just because, out of spite. Nagiging parang personal nga eh. It's sad, no? Yung iba magkapatid, yung iba magpinsan. So it's difficult to say because, well, right now, with the advent of the new rules that they're trying to experiment on, anti-dynasty rules, this is something that I think...
For the SK yan?
Well, they are actually experimenting on the SK.
Okay.
So they're saying that if you want to run for SK, you must not be related up to, I think, the 2nd or 3rd degree.
We'll talk about that later on regards sa SK. Pero yung first, let's discuss yung sa term. 5 years, you're saying 5 years.
Yeah, for
How
me.
many re-elections?
Well, 3 lang talaga.
So that's 15 years.
Yeah, maximum.
15 years.
If you're given 5.
Okay. But how do you read the exception that you mentioned? Does the exception really prescribe a term limit or no term limit?
Yeah, the exception refers to the number of years.
Okay.
Because it says there 3 pero except. So the other 3, meaning the re-election portion, is only 3 consecutive terms.
Okay.
Diba? Because ang sabi niya, but not more than 3 years except the barangay officials, which shall be determined by law. And that law is the local government code. So what they did, they put under the law 3 years. Kasi kung nilagay nila 5, di wala na tayong issue.
Okay.
Talagang, so what does it mean? It means that they really tried to avoid the synchronization of the elections, because imagine there could be a possibility that you're voting for the president all the way down to Barangay Kagawad.
Barangay Kagawad, yes.
For me, actually, when I was a member of the former Constitutional Commission, when I was appointed before by then Madam President Gloria, one of the proposals I was recommending was to desynchronize the presidential election, the national elections, with the local elections, because it's a wrong way to save. We are sacrificing our future by saving a few million, a few billion, but sacrificing in choosing the right person, by focusing in choosing the right person, which is, example, the highest position of the land, the president. Why do you want to vote for the president at the same time vote for your mayor when they have two different issues?
Yes, yes.
Diba? So,
Yes, yes.
so we all have to focus na I will choose the right president.
Okay.
So what's happening now is, of course, going back to the barangay, how much more if you add the barangay to the issue?
Yes.
So tomorrow, I will have to vote to the closest person, which is my neighbor, who will happen to be the closest power and public servant, which is the barangay. And then I will also have to vote for which is supposed to be happening next year, the councilman, and then the mayor,
Mayors,
and then the senator,
senators.
congressman, governor, senator. So the list goes on. In the next election after next year, you will now be voting from president all the way down.
Okay.
So these are...
I'll ask this of you. In the first place, do you believe there should be term limits? Because some people say that, you know, barangays are not supposed to be political. So, do we really consider them as a public office? It's a public office, but it's not non-partisan, non-political. So, should there be term limits? How do you see that?
Actually, the term limit issue anywhere in the world, no, I think the term limit is only limited to usually the highest position. Like in the U.S., it's only the president that has that. No? I think the issue there is, should there be term limits in the barangay?
Yes.
Personally, for me, it doesn't matter. Sa akin, dapat wala.
Okay.
Why? Not because they can stay there forever, but you know, your barangay captain is the closest.
Yes.
It's so easy to see kung lumaki ba bahay niyan, nagpaka-corrupt ba yan, and unless your constituents are very, very jaded, yung wala na talaga silang pakialam, very indifferent, hindi dapat manaig yung masamang nanunungkulan. And I've seen this in the provinces, no? Even gumagastos yung iba. Because let's face it, politics in the Philippines, really, you need money, you spend, etc., and all that, no? But minus, let's say, the fact that some of them will vote by to some extent. But the question there is, even if you do engage in vote buying, if you are that bad, I don't think you'll win. Especially in the barangay, because you know naman the Filipinos are very, very fond of rumor mongering, the gossip and all that. And if they, all the more if they see that you are, it's life changing. You used to be a tricycle driver, then you become a barangay captain. So now you have a car and all that, and your barangay is not changing, and there's nothing that you've done for your barangay.
They will vote you out easily.
Easily. So it's not similar to the higher positions, no, that people, it goes on an average.
What you're saying is on the barangay level, everything is very transparent. Everything is known. All the chismis is known. That's why when we return, we're going to again refocus on my point. Should there really be term limits? Because anyway, you can always change the barangay, easily for the public now when we return.